Hey, good afternoon, everybody. As you may have seen yesterday on my channel, I went ahead and cooked the steak, even though the live with Renalyn was canceled. I cooked two steaks, so I got a strip steak left that I put in the refrigerator, and we're going to do a little short video here about how you can use leftover steak to make fajitas. Or you could also do quesadillas, but in this case, we're going to do fajitas. So this is the little like 10-ounce, 12-ounce strip steak I had left over. I just take my Serbian chef's knife and slice it thin. Hopefully not get my fingers. This is like a super tasty way if you have a leftover steak, or sometimes I use like leftover roast too. Or reheat it. You'll see in a minute with some salsa and onions and vegetables and stuff, and then just wrap it in warm flour tortilla. So that's the steak. You want it to cut it about yay thin. That one's a little thick. I'm going to turn it off for a second, and we'll cut vegetables for prep, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now we're on to vegetables. So I'm going to reheat this with onion and salsa. This is just like a half of the leftover onion. I'm just going to slice it like so. Again, trying not to cut my fingers. I always like, whenever I have fajitas or any Mexican food really, to have a little bit of guacamole. Those of you who don't know guacamole, it's just avocado smashed up. If you like it kind of simple like I do, I just put either just salt or garlic salt, depending on if I have it or not. This one's starting to turn, so I need to use my avocados. They start to get brown after they've been in the fridge for a while. So you just cut them in half, pull the pit out. You can buy a fancy tool to cut avocados and take the flesh out, but I just made some cuts in the flesh and just take a regular teaspoon and kind of scoop out that stuff. Ooh, this one's almost barely usable. Whoop. Now you can, depending on what you're used to, you can do the restaurant thing and mix salsa in here, or pico de gallo, some onions, peppers, whatever you like. I happen to be a fan of plain guacamole, which is literally mashed avocado with, like I said, some salt or garlic salt if you have garlic salt. I'm probably just going to do a little salt today. I'm just using a handheld potato masher. You could do it in a food processor if you wanted to, probably even a blender, although I've never done it that way. Then just have some regular table salt. Put a little bit of that in there. Use your spoon to mix it in good. And now we've got some guacamole that I can put on my fajita when I get the rest of the stuff heated up. So we'll be back in just a moment and we'll start cooking. Okay, back again. So what we're going to do now is start sauteing the onions that we cut up earlier. Again, that was just a leftover onion that I had. I put a little bit of just regular vegetable oil in the bottom of the pan. We're going to cook these down some. A lot of times when you see fajitas or when you have fajitas, they also use saute pieces of green pepper, sometimes even serrano or jalapeno pepper in there. I just don't happen to have any of that right now. I'm trying to use what I had in the refrigerator. So if you have those and you like that, you can. This would be the time to saute that now. When we put the meat in a minute to warm it up because it's really already cooked, we'll also throw in some of this. It's my favorite salsa, Herdez, but you can use whatever salsa you like or make your own. I used to make my own when I was growing. I had my old garden last year and I had tomatoes and peppers. I just used my own stuff. But this year I didn't do that because I've been traveling, so I didn't prep the garden. So we're just going to saute these until they're soft, maybe get a little color on them, and we'll throw the meat in here. In this big skillet over here, we'll let that heat up and I'll show you how we do flour tortillas. You want, those come cooked, but they're cold, either room temperature or like I keep mine in the refrigerator so they stay longer. So I'm going to put a couple of those in there. You just heat up a dry skillet and you just put your tortillas right on that when it gets hot, and that'll warm them up and kind of toast them. And that's the way you get the best flavor out of them. And have them warm for your fajita assembly. And again, I'm using stuff I already had rather than going to the store. Normally I would have, which I don't have right now, like refried beans too, because I would put those, the beans, the meat, the vegetables, and the guacamole in the fajita. I just don't happen to have any, so we're going to do it without the beans. All right, those are translucent now, so we're going to take the meat that I cut up earlier, put it in a small skillet. Spread it out a little bit. And again, like I said, it's cooked already, and you could eat it cold if you want to. The fajitas are supposed to be hot. So we'll put that in there. And then we'll add our salsa. We'll let everything get nice and hot. If you reheat the meat in the salsa, then you don't have to put salsa on the fajita afterwards, which is nice because everything kind of gets coated in the salsa. That's assuming that you like salsa, which I do. And again, whatever brand you like, use that. Even this Herdez, which comes from Mexico, is sold in mild, medium, and hot. This is a medium, which is the one I like. I actually like the hot one, but not a lot of other people do. So I'm gonna let this cook for a bit, and then I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I'm sorry I had to let the dog out, but if you look over in this skillet, you'll see that tortillas have got that little char on them, and they're nice and hot, but still pliable, so they're done. So we'll take them out of here and we'll put them on a plate. And we'll get ready to assemble fajitas. Turn the heat off everything. Let me get some utensils here. here. So there's our tortillas. I'm just going to take some meat. And we'll get some onion and some of the salsa. And then in this bag is I grated a bunch of Cotilla cheese, which is a Mexican cheese. It's what they would use on stuff like this instead of cheddar, which is what us norteños usually use, or gringos. So you put a generous amount of that on there. And then I have my guacamole I made. Put a little bit of that on each one. And then my hands are clean, by the way. And then you just want to roll them up. So take one in, fold it over, and then fold it over again like that. Do the same thing with this one. This one's got a little bit more meat in it. All right, and there you go. You have some yummy beef fajitas made with last night's New York strip steak. So I'll say goodbye for now. Again, I'll put the instructions into the description. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.